Yes, guys, GRP back in the house with a review of a show that's on Netflix at the moment. It only just came on Netflix about a week ago.
Yeah.
It's called African Queens NJINGA. So it's produced by Jada Pinkett Smith, and it stars Adesuwa Oni, who is a friend of mine. Big up, Ade.
Big up.
She is the lead in there as Queen in Njinga. And basically what this what this is about the Queen of Ndongo, which is now called Angola.
Right.
So it basically tells you about how she fought back from the tyranny of the Portuguese, because the Portuguese at that time, man, when you watch it, they were literally emptying out villages with their need for slaves. Like there were people reporting back to her and saying this village there's no one left because they're just taking people for slaves, right? So she was fighting back against that. She had a very hard life, man. Her dad died because he was killed by his own people because there were warring factions. Her brother took over.
Yeah.
Her brother killed some of his other brothers and killed all the kids, including her kid.
Wow.
Brutal. But then she gets her own back because when she becomes queen, she marries one guy from another tribe, a really warrior tribe that she's trying to get on their side. But while that ceremony's going on, she uses that as a smokescreen to kill that guy who took over, her brother, his son.
Right.
It was just cutthroat.
Whoa.
It was just cutthroat.
Whoa, smokescreen.
It was just one of them ones. This is 1600s.
Yeah.
So she then becomes queen, and then she's having to fight the Portuguese. She's having to make certain deals, go and see them. She even converted to Christianity, although that was again just to appease
She did
them.
what she had to do.
She did what she had to do.
Yeah.
And then there's some controversy about her in history, but I can understand it. She was in a position when she was doing treaties with the Portuguese where she had to do a deal where she would have to give them a certain amount of slaves, right, per year or something like that, maybe like 1,000. But it's better for her to do that than allow them to fight
the country
and then just taking 10,000 slaves.
Yeah.
So some people
collateral damage, they call it.
Right.
Yeah.
So some people in history looked down on her for that. I didn't, because she was between a rock and a hard place. Do you know what I mean?
Take 10,000 or take one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean. And then it turns out that the Portuguese were unscrupulous bastards. They reneged on their end of the deal.
Right.
And then so what she was really good at was blocking their slave markets.
Right.
So she would go in there with her guerrilla tactics and block the routes to those slave markets.
Right.
So then the Dutch came over.
The Dutch.
Let's not go into that. But the Dutch came over and then they were fighting the Portuguese. So she decided the enemy of the enemy is my friend. So she aligns herself with the Dutch because they've got guns, and then she can fight. Because at that time, they were actually holding her sisters hostage.
Right. The Portuguese.
Yeah. So she was going to take down the fort that was holding them hostage. On the day before, the Dutch said, no, we need our soldiers because they are attacking us on this other place. And she couldn't even do that.
Wow.
And then they ended up killing one of her sisters by drowning her, right? But she was just causing them so much havoc, and they wanted their thirst for slaves was just insatiable, bro.
Right.
They were that hard up for slaves. They said, all right, take your other sister, but to take your other sister, you have to give us X amount of slaves, and that's the deal that I said she made. And it kind of kept the peace until she died. And then, as with every other African country, they just ran riot over them and just took over. But it was really nice.
It seems like a deep one.
It was deep. It's
nice to hear something different, because we get a lot of Viking stuff.
Right.
We get Yeah, but we don't
100%.
get this.
I was talking about that. I actually want to review it at some point. I'm a big fan of Vikings and Vikings Valhalla.
Yeah.
Those two shows, especially the first one, Vikings. Wicked show.
Yeah.
Right? I was always telling my missus, and her being of Brazil, and in fact, she loved this because of the Queen Njinga one, because they took, obviously, Angola, they took a lot of their slaves to Brazil.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
So she really got into that, right? But I was saying to her, they could have done that exactly like a Vikings. Instead of the narration and the going to the expert after a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
They could have done it like that. And I'm hoping, like you said, next time they do something like this, they do it more like a Vikings. Instead of with the narration afterwards and then interviewing this one and then going back and then, do you know what I mean? Because it would have been better. We've got so much more stories to tell than just, oh, we were slaves, we got captured, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, going back to my missus coming from Brazil, because obviously she resonated with this because there was a lot about Brazil in there. So taking the slaves back to Brazil. She knows now because obviously she's got part Nigerian in her. Yeah. And that's because a lot, Yoruba people were the most trafficked people in the slave trade. Yeah. But they were also, and this is what you don't find out in a history book, a lot of the ones that fought back. This is why there's a massive area in Brazil where they still speak Yoruba. Yeah. Now, you know...
That makes sense, yeah.
Right. You know, as slaves, that's the first thing they wanted to take from them, their language.
I'm a car, you told me.
Right. They wanted to take their language away from them and teach them English because, or whatever. Sorry.
Because they don't want them communicating without them knowing.
Right. Because they'll be planning and plotting.
Yeah.
So... the fact that there's a massive, it's called Bahia. It's a massive part of Brazil. Right. Where they all speak Yoruba. I'd love to go because I want to be able to speak Yoruba with them. Yeah. But then there's also in Cuba as well, a massive area where they speak Yoruba. But a lot of people don't. But this is the shit they don't teach people. They don't tell us, do they? They don't teach. So, and that's what I was explaining to my missus. For them to be able to still speak Yoruba to this day, that means they resisted and they kept resisting. Yeah. And that's why they held out and have the language that their forefathers had when they came over. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a really great watch. Ade, you smashed it. My girl Ade Suar, she absolutely killed it. She's a fantastic actress. I've known her for years. And she just absolutely bodied this. And I hope off the back of this, she gets more.
Yeah, big things come.
Yeah, big. I know it will. Yeah. I mean, she smashed it. She smashed it. And it was really, I know you will absolutely love this. Yeah. So I can't wait for you to watch it.
I already feel a bit excited about it. You know, one of those. You've told me, but it's still not enough. You know, I need to feel it and become involved emotionally.
Immersed in it,
Immersed, that's it. That's the word, immersed.
Yeah.
Let's get immersed.
100%. But I will recommend this for anyone, black or white, it doesn't matter. Watch it.
Knowledge is knowledge.
Yeah. In fact, before I watch, let me big up one guy on YouTube. Before I watched this, I knew about Queen Njinga because I follow this guy whose channel is called Home Team History. Right. On YouTube. It's an American guy, black guy, who has the world of knowledge on everything African history. Okay. Bruv, he puts me to shame as being from African origin. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean?
You know a lot, but he knows.
Bruv, he puts me to shame.
I think he'll put many people to shame.
He would. He does videos every week about things like this. And, you know, talking. I was just amazed. I'm amazed. So that's that. So I want to big him up. Go check out his channel.
What's it called again?
Home Team History.
Home Team History.
Yeah. So he knows his stuff. But that's what I first found out about Njinga. And then when I saw that this was coming on, and then also it's my friend playing her as a lead, I was like, I've got to watch this.
Absolutely.
And as you said, man, just like Vikings, many stories.
Many stories.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do one on Nigeria where, you know, my parents are from, you know, and pick me to, you know, star in that biatch.
You can be a star, you know.
So guys, that African Queens Njinga, great watch. Go and watch it as soon as you can.
If you've seen it, let us know how you felt about it. Yeah. This is one of those, how did I feel when I finished watching it? Not was it good? How did you feel?
Yeah.
Definitely. Let us know.
Definitely. Leave some comments down below, yeah?
All right.
Peace.
Peace.